Hello everybody, how are you? Can we get a round of applause for the sky for not raining on us today? Go clouds! No, seriously, go. You're very welcome to VitalTalks. Does anybody know what VitalTalks is? It's okay if you don't and you're just having your lunch. VitalTalks is an opportunity for young people to talk about the stuff that really affects them in their lives. And they get a chance to talk about the real challenges and the real stuff going on in their lives, and not the things that adults and politicians and older people in general tell them that are the real issues in their lives. So that's why it's really important, and it's almost more important that young people get a chance to talk about their achievements and the stuff that they've done and the obstacles they've overcome and the lessons they've learned, and how they can share this with other people the same age going through the same stuff. And that's really, really important. And that's why I want to be here, to open this and to tell people about it, and to tell you all to go to Ireland's VitalSigns.ie and have a look and see the great work being done. Because for me, it all just boils down to happiness and what it requires and what we have to do to be generally happy in our lives. And because happiness to me is a really strange thing, because you don't know you are happy until you're unhappy, and then when you are happy you wonder if you're meant to be happier, and then you go back to being unhappy again. And then, can we do a quick test? How many people here would say that they're happy? That's great. That's about maybe 60% of people think they're happy. How many people think they're happy, but they could be happier? I like that this girl turned to her friend and went, "Am I happy?" I don't know if I'm happy or not. Well, that's all it is. I think for me, happiness means peace of mind. It means you get up in the morning and you don't have a million things nagging you, and you can get on with your day and start to appreciate stuff and live with a bit of gratitude and feel thankful for stuff. So all of these talks that you're going to hear today are from young people experiencing different things in their lives that have helped them to be happy, and hopefully they can share the knowledge that they've learned and help people in a similar situation. So you're going to hear 11 speakers today, all with very personal stories, talking about a huge range of issues like types of families, mental health, youth unemployment, young entrepreneurs, early school leavers, homelessness, asylum seekers and education, drug and alcohol, cost of living, immigration and emigration. So they're all going to have about 10 or 15 minutes to share their story with you guys. So you can come and go as you want, and if you're really interested, then please give the speakers your attention, and that would be really good for them. And it's great for them, to be able to come out and share their stories with you guys. VitalTalks comes from a report which was done called VitalSigns, and this report was carried out by these beautiful people in the white t-shirts who went door to door asking questions. Yes, give them a round of applause. They were attacked by many Jack Russells in the name of Ireland's happiness, and people were asked to kind of give school grades to different areas of life in Ireland, and Ireland scored, after all the research was gathered, Ireland scored a C- in terms of what it's like to live here, which is pretty much the epitome of every school report we've ever got, which says could do better. So basically Ireland as a country has spent far too much time smoking behind the bike shed and trying to get off with England. So you can go and read the report on Ireland's VitalSigns.ie. It's up there. It's very interesting reading. We gave ourselves a B-. That was the highest score, was in arts and culture. And the lowest score was in health and well-being. So it means we can make a lovely picture, but then we eat the paint afterwards. So it is interesting. There's some shocking statistics in there as well. At some point, 48% of young people feel at some point in their lives that life isn't worth living, that's almost half of young people, which is pretty shocking. But then again, there was a World Happiness Report, and they put Ireland 6th. So basically, we spend our whole time moaning to each other that life is terrible, but then when a stranger asks us, we do that very Irish thing of, oh no, I know my leg's hanging off, but we're grand. We're actually grand. It's fine. So it's well worth reading the report, and I hope you do take the time to do it. You can fill out the survey there yourself. And the important thing is that it's real information from real people, and in particular, young people. So, because young people, and I always hate that term, young people, because it's used by adults and other people as this kind of strange term, as if all these people came out of a spaceship at some point. These young people come out and we can't relate to them. They're our kids, they're our brothers, they're our sisters. And what young people have to say really, really matters. Because young people have something that a lot of older people don't have anymore, and that's optimism. Young people see the world as it could be, and that's so important. In Ireland, we have a disease of seeing the world as it is, and we keep telling it as it is and reinforcing the same stuff. This constant Joe Duffy show that's going on in this country. We need to stop telling it like it is and tell it like it could be. Not should be, could be. And that's what will make this country an even better place to live, because frankly I love it and it's great. So we're going to have our talks now, and I'm going to introduce you. Actually, I must point out the selfie sign behind me, and this stands for social situation, education, living, finance, identity and employment. And it would be great if at some point you could take a selfie of yourself in front of the letter that you feel corresponds to an area that you're interested in. You can upload it to the site as well. The site again is Ireland's VitalSigns.ie. So I'm going to introduce you to your first host, who's going to introduce you to your first speaker. And this man was former chairman of the Student Council. He's involved in so many wonderful organisations spreading good across the country. Would you give a big round of applause for Mr. Ronan O'Dollig?
One more time for Dermot. Hello everybody, I hope you're all well. Can we get some more people maybe to come down to the front before we kick off? There's loads of space here, and if we fill it up, more people will join us. So if anyone has the confidence to stand up and come down to the front, that'll be absolutely brilliant. It's great to see a big crowd here. We have a really, really great lineup of young people who are involved in social change and activism, and I'm not going to push this out a bit longer, so we're going to kick off straight away with our first speaker, who's going to talk to you about marriage equality, and her name is Dara. So I want to welcome Dara to the stage. Woo!
My family, the main family that I have are 2 women and my sister, so 3 women. And then I also have a dad. I originally had, a normal nuclear family like everyone else. And when my parents split up when I was about 2 years old, my mum came out as gay and started seeing women. So I suppose first I really want to echo what Dermot said about asking young people what they think about what we actually think about our lives and what's going on with them, because a lot of the time when I talk about my family to people, I say, I think my family is great, we're very happy, we really enjoy our lives. And then someone might say, I read a report that says you do worse in school and you're very unhappy. And I say, that's really weird, because I suppose the people that we should be asking about marriage equality and the people that we should be asking about what it's like to live with 2 women as parents are people like me. But there's all these reports out there and all this information and all these statistics that people want to push out and listen to and talk about. And we should really just be asking individual people. So I do get a lot of questions from people. I get questions like, what's it like to live in a family with 2 women as your parents? And the answer to that is that I really don't know, because I don't know what it's like to live not like that. My family isn't interesting or cool, they're actually quite boring. My parents play bridge twice a week, and we have chicken and 2 veg for dinner almost every day. I went to a very normal school. We like to go on holidays to France to go skiing. It's really very apple pie and a very boring life. But I do think that my family are amazing, and I think that we've overcome some challenges that I do think were very difficult, or they must seem difficult to some people, but for me that was just a part of growing up. So it's always very strange for me to hear that question, because when I was a child, when I was very young, 3 or 4 years old, I had no idea that there was anything strange about two women being in love, because that was how I grew up. To me, that was normal. So it was only when I went to school and people started asking me who that other woman was that lived with my mum, and I said, well, I don't know, her friend, I suppose, I'm not sure, and didn't really know how to answer that question. It was very strange for me, because to me we were just like anyone else. So when I learned that there was something strange about my family, and when people started asking questions and saying it was strange or not normal, that was I don't want to say a difficult experience for me, but a challenging experience to start having to explain to people quite young that my family was just my family. It was like anyone else's. And I do think that my mum and her partner worked very hard to make us feel like a normal family and like a happy family, when there was so much coming from outside that there was something strange about it.
That was me at 13. I had changed from a very small, close-knit primary school into a larger secondary school, and my friends from primary school suddenly stopped talking to me. And it was kind of like, what? Why has this happened? And at the time I had no one to talk to about it, but what I did have was a supportive adult in my life, and that was my mom. My mom, after a while, noticed that my moods were really down, that I kept running upstairs, that I just wasn't myself. And she actually reached out and talked to the principal, and we got things settled down. And she just turned around to me then and said, well, do you know what, you're going to have to go out and make new friends. And I was like, but how the hell do you make new friends? Sure, I'm only getting used to everything else. And I was such a shy individual as well at the time that it was just really difficult. But you know what, I did it. I went out and I made my best friends that are still my friends today. And because of it, I've turned into a bit of a networker. I kind of don't find, strange situations difficult anymore, because I suppose I was in the most difficult situation possible. I was bullied, and it was a very difficult experience at the time.
In a different area of being an early school leaver, one of the things that's quite hard about it is there's a lot of judgment around it. There's a lot of people who, I remember one time actually, I was just in McDonald's one day, and this woman from the church that I was in at the time came up and asked me how I was, and she goes, so what are you doing with your life now? And I said, oh, I'm in youth reach. And she goes, oh, that's lovely, dear. And it was the most patronising lovely. It was so false and it was so fake, and it was quite I found it amusing at the time, but I thought it was funny how she jumped to the fact that my life must be down the drain now that I'm in youth reach. It was this assumption that I was no longer of value, or that I no longer was doing something worthwhile with my life because I was an early school leaver. And the thing is through being in youth reach and through leaving school early, I finally was able to engage with education. I began to get excited about learning. I would, the classes would be broken down in a way that I could understand, and I quickly found myself progressing and learning a lot, like a hell of a lot, and that was an amazing opportunity. And I also found that through leaving school early, the things in me, the broken sides of me, the things in life that was holding me back, the things that was part of the bullying, all that pain I experienced in life, I began to heal. And it was through actually saying school isn't for me, I am not going to achieve here, that I was able to leave, and I was able to begin to repair the broken parts of my life.
The young people who are creeping closer and closer to the age of 30 have never moved out and they've never had a full-time job. To my brother panicking about doing his leaving cert this year, and is panicking about what he's going to put on as CEO because he doesn't want to see himself have to do the same thing that I have. And to my other brother who's fighting tooth and nail for a master's degree. And these are only some of the situations that young people are finding themselves in, and I know I've only scratched the future, or scratched the surface. To any young person experiencing what looks like maybe a couple of years unemployment,
the Cast Film Festival isn't just a simple idea. It's grown into something bigger, and it's a way of just getting young people to engage in a fun way and just spreading a good message on mental health, because it affects everybody. So it's grown into something big. I am Jamie Marr, and thank you for hearing me today.
From my organization, which is the Youth Platform Project, the way we got involved in both this project and the No Hate Speech is basically we look after the empowerment and the engagement of young migrants that have come to Ireland. Fabuti was actually one of our projects. We started working with him 6 years ago. Now he's a fully fledged comedian. He doesn't pick up our calls, but that's fine. It's the nature of the whole game, huh? But we always look for talented young people. We put them in the right places, try to direct them, and we deal with the issues of young migrants, whatever they're going through.
My visit today in Dublin is to help to one another to understand the importance of the management process for asylum seekers here in Ireland. Many people come to Ireland across the world because of difficulties faced by them. Some suffer political issues, religious issues, sexuality issues, and many more. These people that migrate to safe country are the asylum seekers. Then people are prohibited to engage in any type of work, full-time education, and operate any business.
And I know for a fact that there's plenty of students all over the country are doing to try and keep within really, really low budgets. So this is the part now where I reveal a little bit more about how much it's going to cost me as a typical student living in Dublin for the year. And I'm only talking accommodation. So assuming I don't overdo it on utilities and food, I've tallied it up and I'm going to spend roughly €5,550 just to physically survive in Dublin. And even so, to stay on target, I'd have to reach huge new levels of being frugal. I'm talking student savvy, as we affectionately refer to it as. And see, the thing is, as the title of this speech says, billionaires, students are far from being billionaires in a financial aspect. But in terms of saving finances, then we are billionaires. We're billionaires in terms of creativity, in the ways we think up, because we can think up a billion different ideas in ways of saving finances and just coping with the cost of living in Ireland. Now, on top of that, on top of this cost of accommodation and physically surviving in Dublin, there's going to be plenty of costs that I'm not even going to begin to touch. So costs such as clothes, a social life, albeit within reason, transport, bike maintenance, things like that, health costs, clubs and societies, class trips, and all those other aspects of student life that I'm just not going to get into because the cost would be astronomical. So I'm going to tally all those things I just listed up and estimate that you could add on roughly €60 a month for at least one of those things, if not all of them. So again, I'm definitely underestimating, but for argument's sake, we're going to say 60. And that brings my total cost of student living to over €6,100 per year. But a little extra, surprise extra in here is that most landlords don't take students for 10 months for the college term. Most landlords take students for 12 months because a year is the minimum amount that they'll take people. So when you take that figure, you actually have to add on the summer months too. So the average student is now obliged to pay €7,300 a year. And that's just living expenses. So now that I've sorted living expenses.
When I came to Ireland, I went to the most roughest part of Ireland, you know. I was in Castleknock. It was gangster, trust me. Castleknock is a ghetto. That's where I kind of grew up. It was actually cool. I had friends, you know, like, don't worry, I'm not racist. I have 2 black friends as well. So just to let you guys know. Oh, sorry, don't fall. Yes, it's a good experience in Ireland, and I had a good time. I went to school here, which was really amazing. And the funny thing is, like, when I came to Ireland, it was like 7 years ago, there was not a lot of black people around. So wherever I go to, people's like, come here to me. I need to ask you something. Where you originally from? And I'm like, I'm from Nigeria. And they'd be so scared, like, no way, you from Nigeria. Shauna, come here. He's from Nigeria, come here. I'm like, why are you so like worried? Why are you so shocked I'm from Nigeria? And she's like, oh, I thought you're from Africa or something. Nigeria is in Africa. It's just, well.
I'm originally from Zimbabwe, and I came here when I was 12 years old. I moved here with my brothers and sisters, and it was a big change. I mean, the first time when we knew that we were coming over, my mom messaged me and she was like, remember to bring a big coat. And I was like, what do we need a coat for? Because in Zimbabwe it's really hot, it's about 40 degrees. So anyway, when you got to the airport, it was really cold. And it was so much different, and we had to go to class, and everything was completely different. So when I went for my first day in school, that was really fun. It was the first time that I heard an Irish person speak in English, and they always speak really fast. And I was used to speaking English really slow. So it took me a while to get used to everybody, and I kind of secluded myself from everybody. And then I met one friend, and she used to speak really posh and slow. So we became best friends, and I found the whole experience fun. Like in Zimbabwe, school is serious. You do your work, you have your break, you have fun, you come back and it's serious work. And at the end of the day, you go home and you play sports. But Irish classes were different. We got in the class, we had fun, we did projects, we started laughing, and you definitely didn't get any punishment for failing. So for me, it was a whole big situation, and it was very different. And I can say for going out socializing, it was kind of different. As an African tradition, going out, you're not so much allowed to go out. Like your parents wouldn't let you go out past 5 p.m. and for Irish students, they could go out anytime they wanted. So we didn't exactly hang out all the time. Also for marriage-wise, I know Irish couples move in together and they live together before they get married. But for our culture, you have to go to the big auntie, talk to the big auntie. The auntie talks to your dad. You pay money through the auntie, and she's like the whole communicator of the whole process. And you are not allowed to live together until he's paid the bride price and you're married. So definitely the cultures are different, but I adapted very well. And I mixed in with everybody, and I've been here for the past 13 years. So thank you.